Welcome back. In this video we're going to look at lambda expressions, and lambda expressions are a pretty cool feature. They allow us to write super concise and short code that does quite some advanced things. So let's have a look at that. What is a lambda expression? A lambda or a lambda expression, both is fine, is a function which has no name. But a lambda expression is not the same as an anonymous function, which also has no name. So there's a little distinction there. We're going to focus on lambda expressions for now though, because these are the ones that we're going to use and that we already have used when we used the onClick event. So lambda expressions and anonymous functions are function literals. For example, functions that are not declared but passed immediately as an expression. So a lambda is defined with curly braces, which takes variables as a parameter, if any, and a body of a function. So it can take variables as a parameter, but it doesn't have to. Okay, so it's not a requirement. The body of a function is written after the variable, if any, followed by the arrow operator. So this is the lambda operator, so to speak. So this is a dash with an arrow. And the syntax is variable or variables, lambda expression, body of lambda, and all of that is surrounded by curly brackets. So let's look at a normal function, addition of two numbers, where we create a function, add numbers, or add number passing two arguments a and b. Add number 5, 10 are the two values that we pass, so a is 5 and b is 10. And the function looks like this. Fun add number a int, b int, and then we have the val add is a plus b, and then we print, in this case, just add, and that's it. So this is what our function does, very basic. Now the thing is, we can have this output of 15, but we can really shorten this. Now let's see how we can do that with a lambda expression. So we will write the same example using lambda expressions. So here we have val sum int, it's going to return an int. So what we're saying is that we're creating a lambda expression called sum, and we take two parameters, int and int, or of type int, and we return an int. So what we are now saying that the lambda expression itself should be a of type int, b of type int shall return a plus b. Okay, so this is what we do here. So what is after the lambda expression is what is going to be returned because we defined it here. Okay, but it's possible to do this even shorter. Of course, we had this println there in order to display something. So we are calling this sum lambda expression, we're passing the two values and we're printing it because we also wanted to print the value, right? But we can do this even shorter. So we can have val sum, a of type int, b of type int is already part of the lambda expression, and then we just println a plus b. So now if we call sum, we pass the two values, it will already print 15. So it will directly print the result. So we just had two lines. It's not exactly the same, as you can see. In one of the two examples, we're actually returning. So in this case, we're returning the value first, and then we use it in a print line statement in order to print the return statement. And then in this case, we directly added to the print line here in order to display whatever is here. So if you wanted to return it, then you would get rid of this print line and then do the same print line sum as you had here at the top. Okay, so both versions are fine, but what you cannot do is use print line in here because you're saying that you return an integer. Okay, so you still have to follow the structure of whatever you're trying to return, it has to be returned. Okay, so whatever you're defining that will be returned, in this case an integer, has to be returned here as the return statement. All right, so this is an example of a lambda expression, and we're going to use lambda expressions, but more importantly, we're going to see lambda expressions in action when we work, for example, with events, such as click events and in other cases as well. So it's more important for you to understand the concept behind it and not be surprised when we see them, rather than having to use lambda expressions yourself all the time, because they are a little more advanced than the other ways of creating functions. So feel free to use either of them.